Marihuana til medicinsk brug er tilladt i USA, og nu taler flere og flere for en generel legalisering af marihuana. Blandt fortalerne er naturligvis nok dem, der kalder sig den amerikanske marihuana-bevægelse. De blæser til kulturkamp for marihuana mod alkohol.
Fortalerne for en legalisering af marihuana har medvind i øjeblikket. Tidligere var debatten tabubelagt. I 90'erne for eksempel indrømmede Bill Clinton at have røget pot, men
I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it, and didn't inhale.
Forskellen til dagens USA er tydelig. Barack Obama blev også spurgt, om han havde røget pot.
I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
Og det er blevet mere acceptabelt i mainstream USA at indrømme, at man ryger marihuana. De euforiserende planter er nu tilladt til medicinsk brug i 13 stater. Og nu melder den amerikanske marihuana-bevægelse sig ind i debatten med bogen Marijuana is safer, so why are we driving people to drink? Altså, marihuana er mere sikker, så hvorfor driver vi folk til at drikke? Manden bag bogen hedder Steve Fox og kommer fra The Marijuana Policy Project.
Welcome to the program, Steve Fox. What convinces you that marijuana is safer?
Well, it's really pretty simple. It's safer than alcohol across the board, starting with the basic fact that alcohol is actually a poison, while marijuana is not. And what that means is that if one were to consume about 10 times the amount that they would need to be generally inebriated, 10 times the amount of alcohol, that could actually be fatal. At a less dramatic level, you see that people consume alcohol and end up getting nauseous or even vomiting, and that's the body trying to reject the poison.
But we all know that people who end up with serious drug problems, almost all of them started out with marijuana. It sounds very risky to me.
Well, I mean, that's a myth that's been put forward for a long time, this supposed gateway myth. And what we actually find is that, you know, people tend to use, or young people use tobacco or alcohol before they try marijuana if they end up using other drugs. But the truth is that even people who try marijuana, the vast majority of them never move on to other substances. And moreover, those who do, studies have shown that the reason for that is that they're being put into a market where they are exposed to other drugs. A study of the Netherlands and San Francisco was done at one point, and what they found is that people in San Francisco were more likely to move from marijuana to other drugs like heroin and cocaine, and that's because they're sold in the same markets, whereas in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, marijuana is separated out from those other drugs and sold in a separate market.
But we also know that that marijuana can lead to psychosis, and there's new studies that even suggest that it can change your DNA and raise the risk of cancer. That sounds like a lot of a risk to run for a little buzz.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting just in your phrasing where you say that we know that marijuana leads to these things. I mean, there have been studies that have shown that the connection between marijuana and psychosis is very weak, according to the British Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs, and that where the use of marijuana has become more widespread over time, there's been no increase in psychosis. And moreover, especially in terms of cancer, there's no proof that marijuana actually leads to any increased risk of cancer, even lung cancer. And the truth is that alcohol is associated with an increase in cancer risk. And in the United States, for example, there are approximately 30,000 deaths a year attributable to the use of alcohol, and the comparable figure, according to the U.S. government, for marijuana is 0. I mean, it just in every possible way is safer than alcohol. We're making a mistake by encouraging people to use alcohol instead of marijuana.
Og det sagde Steve Fox altså, da jeg talte med ham tidligere i dag.